What is going on, guys? My name is Forge here on this channel, Mr. Supply Drops. Today, I wanted to make a video talking about Black Ops 6 and specifically Black Ops 6 Zombies because I have some mixed opinions on how I feel like this game is going to go. I'm looking forward to it like I do for every Call of Duty game, especially a Call of Duty Zombies game, in terms of a Treyarch game is what I meant to say. But I'm also just a little bit concerned after how Cold War was handled, which, yeah, spoiler alert, you're not going to like that. If you really loved Cold War and you have a strong opinion, a positive opinion about that game, you're not going to like this video, so you might want to just back out while you're ahead at this point. So that's just a little heads up. But recently we did get some information that Zombies will actually be taking place. We're going to be able to see gameplay. Creators are going to be able to play Zombies at Call of Duty Next and stream it, which is kind of crazy. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, on one hand, I'm incredibly curious to see what Zombies is going to be like beyond just a little bit of teasers that they've already shown us, but at the same time, they've never done that, and I feel like they've never done that for a reason. The reason is that that's like supposed to be more of the mysterious type of game mode, but I don't know, maybe we're gonna branch out from that type of idea from this point forward. I mean, they show gameplay of campaign and multiplayer. Why not Zombies, so I don't know, it's hard for me to, maybe I'm just not used to it, but I feel like it was always fun to hop into a game of Zombies day one. I don't know, I guess I could just not watch it if I really didn't want to, I guess. I don't know, either way, they're going to be showing that off of Call of Duty Next, which is kind of crazy. Like I said, they've never done that, so I'm going to be seeing that, we're going to be seeing that, and also, one of the developers, the lead designer or developers, I don't exactly know, I can't remember his name right now, but I'll play the clip right here.
In recent years, not I've been directing the gameplay, the design systems, it's really about, I want to bring Zombies to more people, and so approachability has been a key part for me to put in the game. So just really like raising the floor. A lot of people, it's a very challenging mode, and so when people try for the first time, they might survive for 2 minutes, and it's like, once you get in there and you experience like the higher rounds, it's so much fun. So we want to just make sure that more people can do that.
One day I'm gonna get to those higher rounds.
You're gonna do it.
This is the year. This is my time.
This game, we got all sorts of stuff for you that's gonna help you with that.
So pretty much, this is a concerning take in my opinion. A lot of people thought that this was a good thing. I don't exactly know. Maybe it's a good thing for some people. For me, as a hardcore player, a player who prefers games more like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, Black Ops 3 is not really that hard to begin with, but it's a nice balance between casual and hardcore, in my opinion. And it's probably the best balance we've ever gotten in terms of Zombies. Black Ops 2 was a little bit more hardcore, and, it just started going a little bit more casual with each game after Black Ops 1, I feel like. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, up to a point, up to Cold War. I think Cold War is way too casual, which is why that line kind of concerns me. Is it going to be like Cold War again, where everybody can get to high rounds? Because I don't know what he's talking about in this situation. If you played Cold War, anybody can get to round 100. It's really not difficult. It's really not. You get a ray gun, you pack punch it to tier 3 over time, you run some circles, or you don't even have to. Just like, for example, Forsaken here. Just sit in the corner, buy a minigun, keep spraying it, get Ring of Fire, sit there, spray your ray gun, buy another minigun, rinse, repeat until round 100. It's the easiest thing ever. There's no strat easier in Call of Duty Zombies, in my opinion. It genuinely feels like a glitch strategy. So I'm not going to go too negative into that, but my point is, I don't want Black Ops 6 to be like that. Can we get a balance between that and what made Black Ops 3 such a fantastic game, for an example? Or Black Ops 2? I don't know, just the more difficult gameplay experience. But here's the thing, we don't need to have just one or the other. We could have difficulties like we did in the past. We could, if it was such an important thing to have an easy mode, basically, for the game. We don't have to have just one or the other. Black Ops 4 had game modes, for an example. You had difficulties within that. Now, were they perfect the way that they implemented them? Not really. I think it was just overly difficult because it was like you would get two-tapped as if you didn't have Jug back in the day, and there was no Jug in Black Ops 4, so it really didn't work that way. But if they made it more like a classic mode, rather than a hardcore mode, just a classic mode, and then we had maybe the modern mode, I don't know, something like that, modern and then classic being more like Black Ops 2 / Black Ops 3, that kind of gameplay, and then the modern mode is more like Cold War. Can we not have both sides be happy at that point? Like, I don't know how you would implement that gameplay wise, programming wise, I don't know. What I do know is I don't want it to be like Cold War again. I got so incredibly bored. Maybe it wasn't even just the gameplay because of Cold War, it was mostly the idea of the maps. Other than D Machina, the maps were all really bad. They were all just copy-paste. They didn't feel like they had very much soul to them. Maybe that's the reason I really look negatively at Cold War Zombies. Zombies in particular. I like the multiplayer. Again, other than the score streak system. But, you know, other than that, the multiplayer was a lot of fun, had a good gameplay, yeah, it was probably the last true Treyarch game we will ever see, because this year we're getting Doors in multiplayer, we're getting Tac Sprint, which is a little concerning, but you know what, we're used to it at this point. It's just more like, can we get a break from it now and again? I felt like the Treyarch games could have been like the break from that kind of gameplay, and then go back to Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward games, and then we get Doors and all that. But I don't know, either way. With Zombies though, like I said, I'm a little concerned about that. I just want a nice balance, man. Recently, I started getting into Elden Ring, and I can tell you, if you've ever played that game, it is so rewarding for playing well and defeating a boss, for an example. That game is as challenging as people claim it is, but there's ways to make it easier by leveling up a bit more, getting better equipment, for an example, upgrading that equipment, right? So there's things you can do, and it's the same thing with Call of Duty Zombies. Why do we have to make it easy from the beginning? That's how it is in Cold War. From the beginning, the game is easy. There's never a challenge in that. I feel like that's a negative, whereas in an older Call of Duty game, you make that progression step, you get jug, you get, I don't know, it's just that the progression is just lackluster in Cold War, and I really hope that with Black Ops 6 we don't have it like that. I want a nice balance. Apparently Cold War did really well with casual players because it was really heavily targeted towards Warzone players by the looks of it. I mean, the mini-map, the health bars, the damage numbers, like all of this stuff just doesn't feel necessarily like a Zombies game. But luckily, here's the thing, I'm looking more forward to Black Ops 6 because so far they have listened to other things. Maybe not the difficulty and all that stuff, I don't know, we have to see. But for now, they actually have listened to some of the pretty big criticisms when it comes to Cold War. The lack of a crew, for an example. They're bringing that to Black Ops 6. That's going to be nice to see. I'm very much looking forward to playing as a proper crew. It just adds that soul to the game a bit more. It just adds to the story. Like, I don't even care about the actual story, but the voice lines, all of that stuff, it all adds up and makes for a much better gameplay experience, a much, like, atmosphere, the vibe, whatever you want to call it, is so important to a game, and that is completely absent from Cold War, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm just hoping that we have a better balance between older Call of Duty games, like in the sense of it's a brand new game with this brand new omnidirectional movement, but it feels more in terms of difficulty like Black Ops 3. Because that, like I said, that was already not a very like super difficult game, but it was pretty balanced because of the Gobblegums. It made it so if you use those, it could be very, very easy. Or it could be a lot more challenging if you didn't want to use those, or, you know, it could just be a little more challenging in general if you only use, like, classic Gobblegums. It was just a better balance. I feel like that's the reason that game is so loved in the community, is because it's literally just the best balance between hardcore and casual. Like, you don't have to go one way or the other. You can have a balance, but Cold War is not the balance. So I'm hoping they learned from that. I'm hoping that we are going to have a little bit more, a little closer to the hardcore experience with Black Ops 6, or at least, at the very least, a classic mode or something of the sort in order to have something similar to that. Because there is going to be Gobblegums in this particular game, so maybe that could be the thing that makes it easy again, instead of making the actual gameplay easy. It's another thing with Cold War is spawning in with your weapons. I feel like instead of doing that, because that kind of ruins the mystery box, maybe make it so that there's some specific thing you have to go to buy your loadout. You don't just spawn from it. And it's not something you can get right away, and it's a lot more expensive than the mystery box. That way you still feel incentivized to possibly use the mystery box, and it's a lot closer. Like, you could open one door, for an example, and get to the mystery box if it spawned there, or whatever, I don't know. That way you can still use that and actually has a reason to exist, whereas in Cold War, the mystery box is useless. I think I've hit it just to get a ray gun. That's really it. Every other weapon, I never use it when it comes out of the mystery box, because why would I do that when I'm just going to use the gun that I spawned in with? We can have both, man. We can have the loadout system for people who like to have that stuff without needing to spawn in with it. Like, you don't need to spawn in with it in order to have that, because I like to have the specific weapon that I want as well, mainly for the camo challenges, because it makes it a lot easier than having to hit the box 1,000 times to find the specific weapon that you want to grind for. But in the current situation with Cold War, it didn't work, man. It didn't work, and I'm hoping that with Black Ops 6, they've had a lot of time for this particular game, I think that they have maybe hopefully figured it out. Let's hope. I mean, I don't know. We have 3 more months until this game releases. We'll be able to see gameplay in about a month when Call of Duty Next happens. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. I'm not going to get too hyped because I feel like I've gotten let down way too many times over the years, although in my opinion, I think MW323, for an example, that's been the first time in years that I haven't been truly let down by a Call of Duty game in terms of content, for an example. Like, they took Modern Warfare 2019, that type of gameplay, and actually turned it into what it should have been in terms of having dead silence, red dots on the minimap, you know, all the stuff that Infinity Ward purposely left out because they wanted a game that wasn't Call of Duty instead of a game that is Call of Duty. But I don't know, that's going to go into different topics. So that's going to wrap up this video. What do you guys think about this? Would you like to see Black Ops 6 be more like Cold War or more like an older game like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, hell, even like Black Ops 1 or... Well, World at War was pretty similar to Black Ops 1 from my remembrance. It's just Black Ops 1 is a lot more polished. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you guys enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.